Good. Hi, we're the regular guys. I'm Sean. This is Jay, Sam, and Nasser. For our project, we created a game that allows JavaScript developers to practice their regular expression skills. As students of code, we found RegEx to be a really powerful tool, but also a complicated syntax to learn and to master. A lot of the resources that we found online are pretty good, but they're also kind of boring and tend to explain concepts without a huge emphasis on practicing them. So we wanted to take a different approach, focus on execution and enjoyment. So here is regular guy, just a regular dude, dealt a horrible hand in life where the sky is raining bombs. And the only way to disarm them is with regular expressions. So in the game, users can guide our hero through the city streets, where he'll interact with bombs and disarm them by solving pattern matching challenges. Meanwhile, logged-in users can see past bombs they've defused, see how other people have disarmed those bombs, and they can even submit their own questions as potential bombs in the game. The rest of the guys are going to go through the application in more detail. Up next is Jay.
Thank you, Sean. So for this project, we use Postgres database, Sequelize ORM, and Express web application framework, and Angular for the front end. I know you might be wondering, how did they make such a dynamic and exciting game with that Sean stake? I can tell from your looks. Phaser. Phaser is HTML5 game engine developed in plain JavaScript. Phaser games are organized around the state. You can think of state and Phaser as different part of the game. Each state object has built-in method for its functionality. For example, init and preload function takes care of loading assets for the game. And also, update function are called 60 times per second, constantly checking for any input to move the player on object collision.
One of our biggest challenges was figuring out how to provide meaningful regular expression problems for the player to solve when attempting to disarm bombs. So most of our questions employ a match some but not all approach, and this proved to be an effective safeguard against the player using very generic regular expressions to solve the problems. All of our questions originate in one of two areas, one being our server, which serves up questions from the database according to difficulty level. And on the front end, there is a question generator wrapped in an Angular factory. This function allows for method chaining if desired. So we're able to randomly select methods and chain the results to generate questions. For example, the code you see here could be used to generate a three-part question for the player to solve. Nasser?
Thanks, Sam. Since the bulk of the user experience exists on the front end, we realized that the architecture of our app needed to facilitate tight-knit communication between Phaser and Angular. We achieved this by wrapping the Phaser-generated game canvas in an Angular directive. In other words, every time regular guy runs into a bomb, a question object, along with its metadata, is placed on the scope. This in turn triggers the creation of a question directive, and depending on how the user answers the question, a third directive comes into play, eventually taking the user back to the Phaser-governed game canvas. To maintain a animated atmosphere throughout the app, we used CSS libraries such as Shake and Magic Time. After a game, a user can visit their account page and check out past questions, as well as how other regular guys are dealing with their respective existential crises. Thank you. We are the regular guys. Check us out at regexrace.com. Thank you for your time.